Tonight, as you settle into your bed, soft pillows beneath your head, a blanket gently wrapped around you, it's easy to forget how simple comfort can feel. But for most of human history, this kind of comfort didn't exist. No soft mattress, no wooden frame, not even a proper place to lie down. And yet, people still slept. Some rested on cold earth, others on rough straw or animal skins, often listening carefully to the sounds of the night around them, the quiet crackle of fire, the distant movement of something unseen in the dark. Sleep, back then, was not just rest, it was survival. So tonight, let's gently step back in time to a world before beds and discover how humans found rest in a place where comfort as we know it had not yet been invented. And as you listen, you might begin to wonder, how did they ever fall asleep at all? Close your eyes for just a moment. Think about your bed. Think about the softness beneath you right now, the pillow that holds your head, the blanket that wraps around you like something gentle and familiar. Now, imagine none of that exists. No mattress, no pillow, no bed frame, no sheets, just the earth, just the ground beneath you. That is where our story begins. Welcome to Sleeptale Histories. I am so glad you are here tonight. My name does not matter. What matters is this: you are safe, you are still, and tonight we are going to travel together. Not to a faraway land of adventure, not to a place of noise or chaos. We are going somewhere quieter than that. We are going back, far back, to a time before beds existed at all. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders drop a little. There is nothing you need to do right now. Nowhere you need to be. Just rest here with me and listen. For most of human history, sleep was not something people prepared for. There was no bedtime routine, no soft lighting, no mattress chosen from a store. Sleep simply came when the body was tired enough. And when it came, people lay down wherever they could, on the ground, on leaves, on grass, sometimes on stone, and they closed their eyes, just like you are doing right now. It is a strange thought, isn't it? We live in a world where beds are everywhere, where sleep is something we design spaces around, where entire industries exist just to make the place where you rest a little softer, a little warmer, a little more peaceful. But for thousands and thousands of years, none of that existed, and somehow people slept anyway. Go back with me now, far, far back, more than 300,000 years ago, before cities, before farms, before language as we know it. There were people, simple, quiet, searching people. People who woke with the sun and moved with the earth. People who ate when they found food and rested when their legs would carry them no further. These were our earliest ancestors, and at night, when the sky grew dark and the air turned cool, they needed somewhere to sleep. Imagine the world around them. It is a wide open world, soft and shadowed. The trees stand tall and still. The wind moves slowly through the tall grass like a gentle wave. Somewhere in the distance, a river makes its quiet, rhythmic sound, the kind of sound that asks nothing of you,
the kind of sound that simply is. And in this world, a person lies down, not on anything soft, just on the earth itself. The ground is cool beneath them. The sky above is full of stars, more stars than you or I have ever seen, because there are no lights to drown them out. Just a deep velvet dark, scattered with gentle points of silver light. And this person, they breathe slowly. Their body settles into the earth, and they sleep.
This is where it all began. Not in a bedroom, not beneath a ceiling, but out there in the open world, beneath that wide, peaceful sky. Now, you might wonder, wasn't that dangerous? Wasn't it cold? Wasn't it uncomfortable? And yes, it was all of those things. But here is something remarkable, something that scientists and researchers discovered not so long ago, something that changed the way we understand early human sleep entirely. In a place called Sibudu in South Africa, deep inside a rocky shelter carved by time itself, researchers found something they did not expect to find. They found a bed. Not a bed like yours, not a bed with springs or foam or carefully stitched fabric, but a bed all the same, made of grass and leaves layered carefully on the ground. Soft plants chosen on purpose, arranged gently with care. This bed was old, very, very old, around 200,000 years old, and it told us something beautiful. It told us that even then, even 200,000 years ago, people wanted to be comfortable. People wanted to feel soft beneath them when they closed their eyes. That gentle wish, that quiet human hope, it goes back further than we ever imagined. Isn't that something? You and I lying here tonight, looking for comfort before sleep. We are not so different from the people who lived 200,000 years ago. We share the same quiet need, the same slow wish, to rest, to feel safe, to let the world go quiet for a while. And that is exactly what we're going to explore together. In this series, we're going to travel slowly through time, from those first soft beds of grass and leaves, through ancient caves where people gathered close together for warmth, through the great rivers of the ancient world, where early farmers first began to sleep in shelters they built with their own hands, all the way to the first real beds, the ones with legs raised off the ground, covered in cloth. We'll visit ancient lands. We'll hear the quiet sounds of history settling into sleep. And perhaps somewhere along the way, you will drift off too. But for now, just be here. Feel the softness beneath you. Notice how still the room is, how gentle the air feels. You are comfortable in a way that took 200,000 years to build. Think about that for a moment. Every soft thing beneath you tonight is the result of 200,000 years of people searching for exactly this feeling, exactly this rest. Stay with us. In our next part, we go deeper into that ancient shelter. We sit beside the first people who ever chose their sleeping place on purpose. We listen to the world they lived in, and we begin to understand why sleep, even then, was something worth protecting. If this story is bringing you peace tonight, if this voice feels like a gentle place to rest, please subscribe to Sleeptale Histories, so that every time you need a quiet place to land, we will be here, waiting, soft and still,
just like tonight. Rest now. Let your eyes stay closed. The earth is beneath you, and you are safe.
You are still here, and I am glad. Welcome back to Sleeptale Histories. If you were with us in part 1, you already know where we are going. We are going back, further back than most of us ever think about, to a time when the earth was the only bed there was. So settle in. Let your body grow a little heavier. Let your breathing slow down just a little more. There is no rush here. There never is. Close your eyes, if you like, and come with me. Imagine a night, a very old night, older than anything you have ever touched or seen. The sky above is enormous, darker than any sky you have seen in your lifetime. No city lights, no distant glow on the horizon, just a deep, soft darkness stretching from one end of the world to the other. And in that darkness, stars, thousands of them, gentle and still, like tiny fires that never go out. Now look down. Beneath your feet is the earth, cool and firm. The soil is dark. The ground is uneven in places. Small stones here and there, a patch of dry grass, a hollow in the earth, just wide enough for a body to rest in. This is the story of sleep before softness. This is the chapter that most of us never think about, because we have always had something between us and the ground. A mat, a rug, a blanket, a mattress. But there was a time, a long, quiet time in human history, when there was nothing, just skin and stone and earth. Let us sit with that for a moment, not with discomfort, but with a kind of gentle wonder, because those people, they survived, they rested, they woke again, and they kept going. Our earliest ancestors lived in a world that was always moving. They did not stay in one place. They followed food. They followed water. They followed the seasons. And every single night, no matter where they were, they had to find somewhere to sleep. On open ground, beneath a wide sky, near the edge of a forest where the trees gave some shelter from the wind, beside a slow-moving river where the sound of the water never stopped, in shallow valleys where the earth held some warmth from the day. Every night was different. Every sleeping place was new. And yet, every night the body did what it always does. It grew heavy. The eyes grew soft. The breath slowed down, and sleep came. Think about what that took. To lie down on cold, hard ground, to close your eyes in an open world, to let yourself drift away, without walls around you, without a door to close, without the safety of a room, just open air, just the earth beneath, just trust, a quiet, ancient trust in the world around you. There is something very peaceful about that when you think about it slowly. Something that feels almost forgotten now. The ability to rest completely, not because everything is safe and controlled, but because the body simply lets go. Now, sleeping on bare earth was not the same every night. The experience changed with the land. In warmer places, near rivers and forests, the ground held heat from the sun long after the sky turned dark. The earth beneath you would feel almost warm, almost soft in places where the soil was deep and loose. The air would carry the scent of grass and water, and sleep would come easily, gently, like a slow tide coming in. But in colder places, on high ground where the wind moved freely, or in seasons when the warmth left the earth early, sleeping on bare ground was hard. The cold would rise from the soil slowly, first touching the skin, then reaching deeper, and the body would curl inward, knees drawing up, arms wrapping close, finding the smallest shape possible, holding on to its own warmth. Even then, even in the cold and the dark, sleep still came, because the body is remarkable that way. It finds rest wherever rest is possible. Scientists have studied this deeply. They have looked at the sleeping patterns of people who still live close to the earth today. People in parts of the world where electric light is rare, where the day is shaped by the sun. And what they found was something quietly beautiful. These people slept in tune with the earth. They grew sleepy as the temperature dropped after sunset. Their bodies followed a rhythm as old as the planet itself, a gentle, natural pulling toward rest. As the world cooled around them, they cooled too, and they slept. We have that same rhythm inside us, right now, even here, even tonight. Your body knows how to follow the earth. It has always known. Let your arms rest where they are. Feel the weight of your hands. Notice how still you have become. That stillness is ancient. It has been inside every human being who ever lived, every person who ever lay down on bare ground beneath an open sky. They felt this too, this same soft heaviness, this same quiet release. In those early years of human life, sleep was shared. People did not sleep alone. They rested in groups, close together, bodies near other bodies, not just for warmth, though warmth was part of it, but for something else too, something softer than warmth, something we still feel today when we sleep beside someone we trust, a feeling of safety, a feeling that says, you can let go now. Someone is near. You are not alone. That feeling is one of the oldest feelings in the world, and it lives in us still. The bare earth was not comfortable. We should not pretend that it was. There were aching joints in the morning. There was stiffness in the back, in the hips, in the shoulders. There were nights when the cold made sleep shallow and broken, when the ground felt like it had no mercy at all. But morning always came. The sun always returned, and with it warmth, and with warmth movement, and with movement life continued. That is the quiet miracle of those early sleepers. Not that they were comfortable, but that they kept going anyway, night after night, season after season, year after year, for hundreds of thousands of years. And slowly, something changed. Not all at once, not on any particular day, but slowly,
almost without knowing it, people began to look for better places to rest. They began to choose a softer patch of ground here, a sheltered hollow there, the inside of a cave where the stone held the fire's warmth. That choosing, that small, quiet act of looking for something better, that is where the next part of our story begins. We have barely scratched the surface. There is so much more ahead. In part 3, we move into shelter, into the first dark, quiet caves where early people began to truly rest, where fire changed everything, where sleep became something warmer, something closer to what you know tonight. So stay with us. Keep listening. Let each part carry you a little further and a little deeper. And if this quiet journey is giving you rest, if this voice feels like a soft place to land at the end of a long day, please subscribe to Sleeptale Histories. We will always be here, waiting for you, soft and still, whenever you need to rest. Let your eyes stay closed. The earth is beneath you, and you are safe.
You came back, and that means something. I am glad you were here. Settle in a little more. Let your body find its heaviest, most comfortable place. And breathe. Just breathe. Tonight, we are going somewhere warmer. After the bare earth, after the cold, open ground, after all those quiet nights beneath wide open skies. Tonight, there is light. Small, gentle, golden light, and it changes everything. Close your eyes and picture this. It is night, a very old night. The air is cool and still. The darkness around you is deep and soft, like velvet pulled across the sky. And there, in the middle of everything, a fire, small, gentle, breathing slowly the way a fire does when it is calm and steady. The flames move without hurrying, orange and amber and the softest shade of gold. They rise and fall, like something alive, like something that knows you are watching. Sit near it for a moment. Feel the warmth move toward you. Not sharp, not hot, just warm. The kind of warmth that asks nothing of you. The kind that simply reaches out and says, "You are safe here." This is the story of firelight, and it is one of the most important sleep stories ever told. For hundreds of thousands of years, before shelters, before blankets, before anything we might call comfort, fire was the one thing that made the night bearable. Not just physically, not just because it gave warmth, but something deeper than that. Something that lived inside the body, something the mind understood before language ever existed. Fire meant safety. Fire meant others were near. Fire meant the long, dark, unknown night was just a little less frightening. And that feeling, that gentle, glowing feeling of safety, was perhaps the very first thing that helped early humans truly rest. Think about what the night was before fire. Not just dark, but alive with unknowns, sounds that moved in the grass, shadows that shifted between trees, a world that did not stop just because the sun went down. For early humans sleeping in open places, every night carried with it a certain quiet tension, a part of the mind that never fully let go, that stayed just barely awake, listening, watching, even in sleep. But when fire came, that tension softened, not all at once, but slowly, the way tension always softens when something safe enters the room. The fire did something remarkable to the sleeping mind. Researchers who study sleep in communities that live close to the earth today have noticed something beautiful. When people gather around a fire at night, the brain begins to slow down earlier. The body begins to release its tightness. The eyes grow soft. The breathing deepens. The light of a fire flickers. It is never quite still. And that gentle, rhythmic movement, that soft, shimmering light and shadow, it does something to the mind. Something almost like a lullaby. It gives the eyes something soft to follow. And slowly, without effort, the eyes grow heavy. Fire was the world's first sleep aid. Long before warm drinks, long before soft music, long before anything we might recognize today, there was just a flame, quiet and steady, and people gathered close, and they rested. Now imagine that gathering, a small group of people, early humans tired from a long day of moving and searching and surviving. They have found a place to stop for the night, a shallow cave perhaps, or the sheltered space beneath a wide rock ledge, the kind of place where the wind does not reach, where the darkness feels a little less wide. Someone has built a fire near the entrance. The smoke drifts upward and outward into the cool night air. The flames are small now, fed carefully, just enough to last through the dark hours. And the people settle, bodies close together, shoulders touching, children tucked between adults, everyone facing the warmth, everyone watching those gentle, shimmering flames. No one speaks much now. The day is done. The talking has quieted. And in that soft, fire-lit silence, something peaceful settles over the group, like a blanket made of warmth and light. This is one of the oldest feelings a human being can have. The feeling of being together in the warmth, in the soft glow, with the dark held safely back by a small, steady flame.
You have felt something like this before. Maybe around a campfire on a cool evening. Maybe beside a candle when the power went out. Maybe near a fireplace on a winter night. That feeling you felt, that gentle, wordless sense of being held by warmth, that is ancient. That has been inside human beings for a very long time. Fire did more than warm the body. It shaped the way people slept together. It created a circle, a natural, gentle boundary between the group and the dark world outside. Inside the circle of firelight, there was warmth, there was closeness, there was the soft rise and fall of breath beside breath. Outside the circle, the night went on without them. And knowing that, feeling that boundary of light and warmth around them, people could finally, truly let go. The body could release its last bit of waking tension. The mind could drift, slowly, softly, into the deep, dark, peaceful waters of sleep. There is a word for what firelight created in those early nights. It is not a complicated word. It is a simple word, belonging. The fire said, "You belong here. You are part of this circle. You are not alone in the dark." And from belonging came rest, real rest, the kind that restores, the kind that heals, the kind that sends you back into the world the next morning feeling like yourself again. Let the warmth of that idea settle over you now. You belong somewhere too, right where you are, in your own quiet space of light and warmth, in your own quiet space. The fire outside that ancient cave is long gone now, but the feeling it created, that soft, shimmering sense of safety and warmth, it never left us. It is here right now, in the heaviness of your eyes, in the slowness of your breath, in the peaceful feeling that nothing needs to happen right now. You are resting the way human beings have always rested, in warmth, in safety, close to something steady and calm. In part 4, we step even deeper into shelter. We enter the cave itself, where the stone walls held the warmth, where the darkness inside was different from the darkness outside, where early humans began to understand that a roof over your head changes everything. That story is coming, and it is a gentle one, full of stillness, full of quiet. So stay with us. There is so much more to discover, and every part of this journey is meant to carry you deeper into rest. If this series is giving you something soft to hold on to at the end of the day, if this voice feels like a warm place to return to, please subscribe to Sleeptale Histories. New stories are always waiting for you here. Quiet ones, peaceful ones, made just for nights like this one. Let the fire breathe beside you. Let your eyes grow soft. You are warm. You are safe. And the night is long and peaceful.
Welcome back. You are here again, and I am glad. This is Sleeptale Histories, and tonight we are going somewhere smaller, quieter, more sheltered than anywhere we have been before. In part 1, we stood at the very beginning, a world without beds, without softness, without any of the comfort we know. In part 2, we lay down on the bare earth. We felt the cool ground beneath us, and we understood what it meant to rest with nothing between you and the world. In part 3, we sat beside the fire. We felt that ancient warmth, that gentle, shimmering circle of light that told the sleeping mind, you are safe here. And now we go inside. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and follow me. Imagine you are walking, not quickly, not with urgency, just walking slowly across a wide and open landscape. The ground beneath your feet is uneven and soft in places. The air is cool and carries the smell of earth and grass and something faintly green. The sky above is enormous, pale and wide, and full of quiet clouds drifting without hurry. You have been walking all day. Your body is heavy now. Your legs are tired in that deep, honest way that only comes from real movement. And as the light begins to soften, as the sky begins its slow turn from pale blue to something warmer, you look ahead and you see it. A hillside, and in that hillside, an opening. Small, dark, still. A cave. You move toward it slowly, and as you step inside, the world changes. The wind stops, the open sky disappears, and in its place, stillness. A deep, enclosed, peaceful stillness that wraps around you like something gentle. The walls of the cave are close on either side. The ceiling is low. The floor is smooth in places, worn down by time. And the air inside, it is different from the air outside. Softer somehow,
held, like the cave has been keeping it safe and still, just waiting for you to arrive. This is shelter, real shelter, the kind that early humans discovered not all at once, but slowly, the way all good things are discovered, one quiet step at a time. For most of human history, people moved. They did not stay in one place. They followed food, followed seasons, followed the slow turning of the natural world. But even people who move need to stop sometimes. And when they stopped, they looked for the same thing, a small space, a sheltered corner, somewhere the world felt just a little less wide. Caves were perfect for this, not because they were comfortable. The floor was still stone, the air was still cool. There was no softness here, not yet, but there was something the open world could not offer. Walls, a ceiling, a single opening that could be faced, watched, understood. And that made all the difference. Think about what it means to have walls around you when you sleep. Even now, tonight, the walls of your room are doing something important. They are telling a quiet part of your mind, the world ends here. What is beyond these walls is not your concern right now. You are enclosed. You are held. You can let go. That is what the cave said to early humans in its own quiet, stone way. It said, the world is very large, but this space is small. And small means safe. Small means known. Small means you can close your eyes and not wonder what is behind you. Because in a cave, there is nothing behind you. Only stone. Only stillness. Only the soft, slow dark of the rock itself.
And so people slept. Not just rested, not just closed their eyes for a moment, but truly, deeply slept in that small, sheltered space, with the fire near the entrance sending its gentle warmth back into the dark, with the sound of breathing rising and falling all around, with the walls close and the ceiling low, and the world held safely outside. There is something else about caves that mattered deeply, something that researchers have noted with quiet fascination. Caves have a sound of their own, not a loud sound, not a sharp sound, but a soft, rhythmic kind of quiet that is different from outdoor silence. The walls absorb the wind, the stone holds the stillness, and inside that stillness, you can hear your own breath very clearly. You can hear the soft sounds of others sleeping near you. You can hear the faint, peaceful crackle of the fire. And those sounds, gentle, close, familiar sounds, they become a kind of lullaby, a soft, rhythmic reminder that everything is as it should be. Let yourself hear that now, just for a moment. Imagine those sounds around you, soft breathing, a gentle fire, stone walls holding the warmth, the world outside, far away and quiet. Feel how your own body responds to that image, a little heavier, a little stiller, a little more willing to let go. This is something very old inside you, the part of the human mind that knows what a sheltered space means, that recognizes walls and low ceilings and enclosed warmth as signals, signals that say, rest now, you have found your place for the night. But caves were not the only shelters.
Not every landscape had caves. Not every path led to a hillside with an opening in it. And so people learned to make their own small corners, their own sheltered spaces in whatever the land offered. In forests, they found spaces between the roots of great old trees. The roots curved up and out of the ground like gentle arms, and in the hollow between them, a space just wide enough for a body, soft with fallen leaves, sheltered from the wind by the trunk above. In grasslands, they found low places in the earth, natural dips and hollows where the ground curved downward, where you could lie down and the wind passed over you instead of through you, where the grass on either side stood tall and quiet like soft green walls. Near water, they found the stasis beneath riverbanks, where the earth had been carved away by seasons of water flowing, leaving behind a shallow, sheltered ledge, cool and still, and close to the gentle, rhythmic sound of the river moving. Always the search was the same. Find a small space. Find a sheltered corner. Find a place where the world feels just a little more known, and rest there. Over time, as people began to stay in places longer, as the first hints of settled life began to appear, they started to make their own shelters at first. Simple ones. Branches leaned against each other, large leaves layered over a frame of sticks, a low, quiet structure that kept the wind out and held a little warmth inside. These were not houses, not yet, but they were the beginning of the idea that a person could build their own sheltered corner, could carry the feeling of the cave with them, could make smallness and safety wherever they went. That idea changed everything. It changed where people slept. It changed how long they could stay in one place. It changed the relationship between a person and the night. And slowly, very slowly, it began to change sleep itself. Because in a shelter you have made yourself, you know every corner. You know the sound of the wind against the walls. You know the smell of the place. You know that you chose this space, that you shaped it with your own hands. And that knowledge, that gentle, grounded knowing, is one of the most peaceful feelings a sleeping mind can have. In Part 5, we go further. We begin to see what happened when people stopped moving altogether, when the first settlements appeared, when sleep became tied to a single place, a home, a room, when the idea of your own sleeping space began to take shape for the very first time. That chapter is quiet and slow and full of warmth, and I think you will love it. So stay with us. There is still so much of this story left to tell, and every part of it is meant to carry you deeper into rest. If this series has become part of your nightly quiet, if these stories feel like a soft place to land, please subscribe to Sleeptale Histories. We are always here, in the shelter of this quiet space, waiting for you. Feel the walls around you, close and gentle. The world is outside, and you are inside, safe, still, at rest. Welcome back. You have stayed with us, and that means a great deal. This is Sleeptale Histories, and tonight, for the first time in our journey, something changes beneath us. We have traveled a long way together already. We have lain on bare earth beneath wide open skies. We have felt the cold rise from the ground in the dark. We have sat beside the first gentle fires. We have found shelter in caves and small corners. And through all of it, The ground beneath us has always been hard, always been unyielding, always just exactly what it is: stone, soil, earth. But tonight something soft appears for the very first time. Close your eyes, let your body settle, and feel this. Imagine your hand resting on a pile of dry grass, not thick or tangled, just loose, dry, golden grass, gathered gently and laid in a soft, low pile on the ground. Feel how it gives a little beneath your hand, how it is not quite firm, not quite soft, but something in between, something forgiving, something that says, I will hold you a little more gently than the earth alone. That feeling, that small, simple, beautiful feeling, that is where part 5 begins. For a very long time, people slept with nothing between them and the ground. We have felt that together. We understand it now. But human beings are remarkable in one very specific way. They notice, they observe, they remember. And somewhere, sometime, a very long time ago, someone noticed something. They noticed that lying on a pile of leaves felt different from lying on bare stone. They noticed that a bed of dry grass was softer than packed earth. They noticed that an animal skin laid flat on the ground held warmth in a way the ground alone never could. These were not complicated thoughts. They were the simplest thoughts in the world. This feels better than that. And from that one quiet observation, everything began to change. The first soft layer was probably grass, simple, dry, gathered grass, the kind that grew in long, gentle waves across open land, the kind that rustled softly when the wind moved through it. Imagine gathering it, walking slowly through a field in the fading afternoon light, bending down again and again, pulling loose handfuls of dry, golden grass from the earth, carrying it back to the shelter, laying it down carefully on the floor, layer by layer, handful by handful, until there is a low, soft, golden pile in the corner of the cave, in the sheltered space you have chosen for the night. Now lie down on it. Feel the difference. The grass gives way beneath you. It is not firm and cold like stone. It holds the shape of your body just a little. It breathes with you. It rustles very softly when you shift, a gentle, dry, peaceful sound, like the field it came from, like the wind that used to move through it. That sound, that soft, rhythmic rustling of dry grass beneath a resting body, that is one of the oldest sleep sounds in human history. Let it settle around you now. Grass was just the beginning. As people moved through the world and learned more about the land around them, they found other things, other materials that the earth offered freely. Leaves were one of them, not green and fresh, but dry autumn leaves, gathered in great soft armfuls, piled deep enough to sink into. They were light and airy, and they trapped warmth beautifully. A deep pile of dry leaves holds heat the way a blanket does. The air between them stays warm long after the fire has dimmed. And the smell of them, that soft, earthy, dry scent of autumn leaves, gentle and familiar, the kind of smell that asks nothing of you, the kind that simply exists quietly, like a memory of warm days. There is something deeply peaceful about that smell, even now, even all these thousands of years later, because it is the smell of rest, the smell of lying down at the end of something, the smell of the earth offering you something soft. Breathe it in slowly, just the idea of it, just the gentle thought.
Then came skins. animal skins. This was a different kind of softness, heavier than grass, warmer than leaves, something that felt almost alive, even after the animal it came from was long gone. A skin laid flat on the ground changed the sleeping experience in a way nothing else could. It was thick. It kept the cold of the earth from rising into the body. It was smooth on one side, soft and dense on the other. It could be pulled up over a sleeping body like the very first blanket, wrapped around the shoulders, tucked beneath the chin. And the warmth it held, that deep, dense animal warmth, it was the closest thing anyone had ever felt to being truly held by something soft. Imagine that, lying down on a smooth, thick skin, the ground beneath you far away now, separated from you by something warm and forgiving, the air around you cool, but beneath you and over you, warmth, just warmth, heavy and steady and deeply, peacefully still. That is the closest early humans had ever come to the feeling you have right now, lying where you are, beneath something soft, held by warmth from below and above. It took a very long time to get there. Thousands upon thousands of years of cold nights and hard ground before someone thought to lay a skin down first, before someone thought to pull it over themselves. But when it happened, when that first person wrapped themselves in something warm and soft and lay down on a bed of gathered grass, something shifted in the body, in the mind, in the long, quiet history of human sleep. Sleep became a little deeper that night, a little longer, a little more restoring, because comfort, even the simplest kind, does something remarkable to the sleeping body. It releases it. It tells the nervous system, you do not need to stay alert tonight. You do not need to brace against the cold. You do not need to hold anything. Just let go. And the body listens. It has always listened. It was just waiting for permission. Over time, these soft layers became more intentional, more carefully made. People began to choose which grasses to gather. Some were softer than others. Some held their shape longer. Some dried in a way that made them gentle and quiet beneath a sleeping body. Skins were cleaned and softened, worked with careful hands until they were smooth and pliable, until they draped gently over a body instead of sitting stiff and heavy. Leaves were chosen by type and season, mixed with dry moss sometimes, with soft plant fibers, with anything the land offered that might add one more gentle layer between the body and the hard ground below. This was not luxury. Not yet. There was no such thing as luxury in this story. Not yet. But this was care. This was a person thinking, I want to rest well tonight. I want the person sleeping beside me to rest well. I want morning to come with a body that feels ready. That care, that quiet, ancient human care about sleep, is the very beginning of everything that came after. Every mattress ever made, every pillow ever sewn, every soft, warm, carefully crafted sleeping surface in the long history of the world started here, in a handful of dry grass, in a skin laid gently on the ground, in the simple, beautiful wish to rest just a little more softly tonight than the night before. You carry that wish in you right now, the same wish, the same quiet hope that tonight rest will come easily, that the softness beneath you will hold you gently, that sleep will be deep and peaceful and long. It is one of the most human wishes there is. In Part 6, we move forward in time. We enter the world of early settlements, of the first true homes, of sleeping spaces that were chosen and kept, returned to every night, known deeply, the place that for the very first time began to feel like your own. That story is a warm one, full of quiet detail, full of the feeling of home beginning to take shape. And I think when you hear it, you will feel it somewhere deep and familiar inside you. So stay with us. There is still so much more of this story to rest inside. If Sleeptale Histories has become the quiet place you return to at the end of the day, if this voice and these stories help you find rest more easily, please subscribe so that every new chapter finds its way to you. We are always here, soft and still and waiting, just like tonight. Feel the softness beneath you now, real and warm and yours. 200,000 years in the making, just for you. Rest now.
You are back. And tonight, I want you to notice something. Before we begin, just for a moment, notice how warm you are right now. Notice the softness beneath you. Notice that the wind, wherever it is tonight, is outside. Not here. Not touching you. Hold that feeling gently. Because tonight, our story goes somewhere colder, somewhere less sheltered, somewhere that will make where you are right now feel like the most peaceful place in the world. Welcome back to Sleeptale Histories, and it is perhaps the most honest part of our journey so far. We have traveled a long way together, from bare earth, from open skies, from the first gentle fires, from caves and corners, and the first soft layers of grass and skin. And through all of it, there has been a quiet truth waiting beneath the surface, a truth we have not yet fully named. Sleep, for most of human history, was hard. Not always, not every night, but often, more often than we like to imagine. There were nights that offered no comfort at all. Nights when the body curled tight and still the cold found its way in. Nights when the rain came without warning. Nights when the wind moved through every gap in every shelter and turned the air sharp and restless. Nights when sleep came in small broken pieces, and the body lay waiting for morning with a kind of patient, quiet endurance. Tonight, we sit with those nights, not to feel sad about them, not to feel grateful in a forced or hurried way, but simply to understand, to let that long, difficult history of human sleep sit beside us gently, to feel how far the story has come. Close your eyes and let me take you there. Imagine a night in the deep middle of a cold season, the kind of cold that arrives slowly, that has been building for weeks, that sits in the ground and in the air and in the walls of every shelter equally. The sky outside is low and heavy, gray and velvet dark in the places where the clouds are thickest. The wind is moving tonight, not sharp or violent, but steady, a long, slow, rhythmic wind
that pushes against everything it finds, against the trees, against the grasses, against the simple walls of a shelter made from branches and packed earth. Inside that shelter, a family lies down, close together, always close together on nights like this, because closeness is warmth, and warmth on a night like this is everything. The fire near the entrance is low now. The wood is running thin. The flames have quieted to small, gentle embers, soft and orange and barely moving, giving just enough light to see the shapes of the people around you, just enough warmth to take the very sharpest edge off the cold, but not enough, not quite enough. The ground beneath them is covered in dry grass and a skin or two. We know that from our last journey together. We know those soft layers exist now, and they help. They do help. But the cold tonight is deeper than the grass can hold. It rises through everything, patient and slow and thorough. And so the bodies adjust. Knees draw up a little closer to the chest. Arms wrap a little tighter around the body. The smallest members of the group are placed in the very center, surrounded on all sides by the warmth of others. The way a group of people has always protected its youngest. Without a word, without a plan, just instinct. Gentle and ancient and sure. Sleep comes eventually. It always does. The body is remarkable that way. It finds the door to rest even when the night is hard. But it is not the deep, unbroken sleep we think of when we imagine rest. It is layered sleep. Soft sleep broken with waking. A slow drift downward into rest. Then a stirring. Eyes opening briefly in the dark. The fire checked. The cold assessed. The body repositioning. Pulling closer. Pulling tighter. Then drifting down again. Researchers who study sleep patterns in communities that still live close to nature found something quietly fascinating. Something that connects us to these ancient nights more directly than we might expect. They found that broken sleep, sleep that comes in 2 or 3 separate periods through the night, was not unusual at all among people living without electric light, without temperature control, without all the things we use to smooth the edges off the night. In fact, for much of human history, sleeping in 2 parts was simply how sleep worked. A first sleep, deep and restoring in the early dark hours, then a waking period in the middle of the night, quiet and still, sometimes just lying there, sometimes tending the fire, sometimes sitting close with the others who were also awake. Then a second sleep, lighter and softer, carrying the body gently toward morning. This was not a problem. This was just sleep, the natural shape of rest in a world that had not yet learned to hold the night still. And there is something unexpectedly peaceful about that when you sit with it slowly. The idea that waking in the middle of the night was simply part of the rhythm, not a sign that something was wrong, not something to fix or fight against,
just a natural pause in the long, dark journey toward morning. Maybe you know that feeling. Maybe you have woken in the deep middle of the night before, in that very still, very quiet space that belongs to no one, too late to be evening, too early to be morning, just night, pure and soft and wide. And maybe in that moment, instead of frustration, there was something else, something quiet and strange and unexpectedly calm. The world outside still, your own breath the loudest thing, a kind of belonging to the dark that you rarely feel in the busy, moving hours of the day. That feeling is ancient, too. It belongs to every human being who ever lay awake in the gentle middle of the night. Every person who ever watched the fire dim and felt the cold creep closer and listened to the wind against the walls. You are part of that long, unbroken line. Right now, tonight, the rain nights were different again. Rain changes everything. The sound of it arriving is soft at first, a gentle pattering on leaves and grass, almost peaceful in the way it begins, like something rhythmic and familiar. But on a night when the shelter is simple, when the roof is branches and packed mud and carefully laid leaves, rain is patient in a way that a shelter cannot always match. It finds the gaps. It moves through slowly, and the first drop that falls inside is always cold, always unexpected, even when you knew the rain was coming. The body stirs, things are moved, the sleeping place shifted to a drier corner, whatever dry material is available pulled closer, and then the waiting. Listening to the rain on the roof, watching the places where the water comes through, planning quietly in the dark. This will need to be fixed in the morning. More leaves needed there, more mud along that edge. Even in the tired, half-sleeping mind, the builder is still working, still thinking forward, still planning the next small improvement. That is another thread of the story we have been following together. The long, quiet history of people making things just a little bit better, a little softer, a little warmer, a little more sheltered from the rain. Night by night, season by season, year by year, each generation inheriting what the last one built and adding something of their own. One more soft layer, one more patched corner, one more night that is just a little easier than the one before. And here you are, at the end of that long, patient line, in a room that holds warmth without a fire, on a surface that took thousands of years to imagine and build, dry, still, sheltered from everything the night contains. The rain, if it is raining tonight, is outside. The wind, wherever it moves, is outside. The cold, if it exists tonight, is outside. And you are here, inside, warm and still and held. Rest in that for a moment, not with forced gratitude, just with gentle awareness, the long, quiet road that led here. All those cold nights, all that patient endurance, all those people who lay down in difficult places and found rest anyway, and made things just a little better so that the next night might be kinder. In Part 7, we move into morning, into what happened when sleep ended and the day began, into the rituals and rhythms that surrounded rest in the earliest human communities, into the quiet, important space between sleeping and waking. It is a gentle chapter, full of soft light and slow beginnings, and I think it will carry you peacefully through the rest of this night. So stay with us. Let the story continue. Let each part bring you one layer deeper into rest. And if Sleeptale Histories has become the sound of your evenings, if this quiet voice is part of how your nights begin, please subscribe. New chapters are always coming, soft and slow, and made for nights exactly like this one. Listen to the stillness around you now. The night is yours, warm and quiet and completely still. Let it hold you all the way down.
Welcome back. You are here. And something is different tonight. Can you feel it? We have been on this journey together for a while now, through bare earth and cold ground, through firelight and sheltered caves, through soft layers of grass and skin, through long broken nights of wind and rain and quiet endurance. And through all of it, we have been on the ground. Every night, every part of this story, the earth has always been right there, beneath us, present and constant and unmoving. But tonight, something lifts, just a little, just barely, but enough to change everything. And this is the chapter where human beings, for the very first time, begin to rise. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. And come with me. Imagine a room, not a modern room, not anything like the space you are in right now, but a room all the same. 4 walls of dried mud and straw, a low ceiling made from wooden beams and packed earth, a single opening covered with a piece of woven cloth that moves gently when the outside air stirs. The floor is swept clean, smooth and cool, and carefully maintained. The kind of floor that someone tends to every day, that someone cares about. And in the corner of this room, something new, something that has never existed before in quite this way. 4 short legs, made from carved wood, rough but deliberate, placed carefully into the ground so they stand firm and level. And resting on top of those 4 short legs, a flat surface, simple, smooth, raised just slightly above the floor. Not high, not dramatic, just up, away from the ground, separated from the earth by the height of 4 careful wooden legs. This is the first bed, not as we know it, not soft or decorated or carefully made, but a bed in the truest sense of the word, a sleeping surface, raised, intentional, built by human hands for the single quiet purpose of rest. Stand beside it for a moment. Look at it. Feel what it means. For hundreds of thousands of years, every person who ever lived lay down on the ground. Every single one. No exceptions. The earth was always there, always beneath them, always touching them. And now, for the first time, a person will lie down and the ground will not touch them. There will be space between a sleeping body and the earth. Just a little space, Just those 4 short wooden legs, but space all the same. That space changes everything. And the people who built this knew it, even if they could not have said exactly why. They knew because of what the ground did to them at night. We have felt it together. The cold rising from the earth in the dark hours, the dampness that creeped through even the softest layers of grass and skin, the insects that moved across the floor in the night, the moisture that gathered in the lowest, coolest layer of the air, right there at ground level, right where sleeping bodies had always lain. Raising the sleeping surface even a small distance changed all of that. The cold did not rise as easily. The dampness stayed below. The air at the level of the raised surface was just a little warmer, a little drier, a little more still.
And sleep changed with it, became a little deeper, a little longer, a little more restoring. The body felt it immediately, even if the mind did not have words for what was different. The body simply knew. This is better. This is kinder. This is right. Now, who were these first people to sleep raised from the ground? We do not know their names. We will never know their names. But we know something about where they lived and what their world was like. The earliest evidence of raised sleeping surfaces comes from ancient places. Warm, river-fed lands where early civilizations first began to settle and grow. Places where people stopped moving and started building, where the first true homes appeared, where the idea of a permanent sleeping space began to take shape. In ancient lands along great rivers, where the soil was rich and dark and generous, where people grew food and kept animals and lived in the same place season after season, the sleeping platform appeared. Low and simple at first, just a raised surface in the corner of a room. But already it was more than just a place to sleep. It was a statement, a quiet, humble statement that said, I live here. This space is mine. I have made a place for my rest, and I will return to it every night for as long as I am here. That sense of return, that idea of a sleeping place that belongs to you, that you come back to, that holds the shape of your nights, that is new in our story, brand new, and it is one of the most important moments in the entire history of human sleep. Because before this, every night was a new place. Every night was finding, choosing, arranging. Every night the question was the same. Where will I sleep tonight? But now there is an answer that does not change. There, in that corner, on that raised surface, that is where I sleep. That is my place. Feel what that means. A place of your own. A surface made for you. A corner of the world that knows your body, that has held you before, that will hold you again. There is a peace in that. A deep, quiet, ancient peace. The peace of belonging to a place and having a place belong to you. You feel that peace right now, in the space where you are resting, in the familiar softness beneath you, in the knowing that this is your place, your rest, your corner of the world. Over time, these early raised surfaces became more refined. The legs grew more carefully shaped. The surface on top became more considered. Some were woven, strips of plant fiber or leather
laced back and forth across a wooden frame, creating a surface that was firm but had just enough give, that breathed a little, that held a sleeping body without the hard resistance of solid wood.
Beginning to take in this raised surface, imagine lying on that woven surface, the slight give beneath you as your body settles, the small, soft movement of the fibers adjusting to your weight, the air moving gently through the gaps in the weave, keeping the surface dry and cool and breathable. This was not a mattress, not yet, but it was the beginning of one. The first time someone understood that what you sleep on should respond to your body, should meet you where you are, should hold you without holding you rigid. That understanding, that quiet, brilliant understanding, is the seed of every soft sleeping surface ever made after this moment. And the legs beneath, those 4 simple carved legs, they are the seed of every bed frame ever built, every wooden headboard, every metal frame, every carefully designed sleeping structure in the long history of human rest. It all began here, in a simple room, with 4 short legs and a flat surface, and the quiet revolutionary idea that a person could sleep above the ground. As civilizations grew larger and more complex, the bed grew with them. In some ancient lands, it became a sign of standing in the community. To have a well-made sleeping platform was to have something worth having, something that took skill to build, something that said, in the quiet language of objects, I have a place here. I have made something lasting. But even the simplest version, even the most basic raised surface in the most modest home, carried the same quiet dignity, the same gentle statement, I have made a place for my rest, and it is good. You are resting on the result of that long journey right now. Every improvement made over thousands of years, every hand that shaped wood, every mind that thought, how can this be better? How can rest be kinder? How can sleep be deeper? All of that thinking, all of that building, all of that quiet, patient, human care is beneath you right now, holding you, just as it was always meant to. In Part 8, we travel further into ancient history. We visit the great civilizations that took the raised bed and made it into something remarkable. We see how sleep became woven into culture, into ceremony, into the deepest values of the ancient world. It is a rich and beautiful chapter, full of texture and color and the quiet grandeur of ancient life, and I think it will carry you peacefully through whatever remains of this night. So stay with us. Let the story keep moving. Let each part hold you a little more gently than the last. And if Sleeptale Histories has become the voice you come home to at the end of the day, if these quiet stories help you find the rest you need, please subscribe. New chapters are always being prepared for you, with care, with patience, with the single hope that you will sleep a little more deeply tonight. Feel how far above the ground you are. Feel the surface beneath you, raised and warm and made for rest. Close your eyes now and let yourself be held, Welcome back. You have come a long way with me, and I am so glad you are still here. And tonight, we step into a different kind of light. Not the soft, uncertain light of a dying fire in a cave. Not the pale gray light of a cold, open sky. Tonight, the light is warmer, older in a different way, golden and still, and full of quiet grandeur. Tonight, we walk into the ancient world, into the great civilizations that rose along wide, generous rivers, into rooms made of stone and carved wood and sun-dried brick, into the sleeping spaces of people who built things meant to last. Come with me, slowly. Close your eyes and imagine this. You are standing in a room. The walls around you are smooth and pale, the color of warm sand in the late afternoon. The floor beneath your feet is stone, cool and flat, and very still, worn smooth by countless footsteps over many, many years. The air is dry and warm. Outside, the sun has set, but the stones of the walls still hold the day's warmth. They give it back slowly into the room, the way stone always does, patient and generous and unhurried. And there, against the far wall, a bed. Not a pile of grass, not a skin laid flat on the ground, not a simple raised platform of rough wood. This is something else entirely. The frame is carved, dark wood, smooth and deliberate. 4 legs, each one shaped with care, each one the same height, the same width, the same quiet solidity. The surface between the legs is woven, strips of plant fiber crossing back and forth in a gentle rhythmic pattern, like something braided by patient hands. And on that woven surface, linen, soft and pale and faintly shimmering in the low light, the color of warm cream, folded carefully, laid with intention, the kind of linen that has been washed and dried in open air and smoothed by hand. This is an ancient Egyptian bed, and it is one of the most beautiful sleeping objects ever made. Stand beside it for a moment. Run your hand along the carved wooden frame. Feel the smoothness of it, the weight and the warmth of the dark wood beneath your fingers. Think about the hands that made this, the person who chose the wood, who shaped each leg with careful tools, who laid the linen down at the end, smoothing it gently, knowing that someone they cared about would rest here tonight.
There is so much love in a well-made bed, even an ancient one, especially an ancient one. The people of ancient Egypt understood sleep in a way that surprises us when we look back now. They took it seriously. They believed that rest was sacred, that the night was a passage, a crossing from one day to the next, and the bed was the vessel that carried you across. So they made their beds with care, with craft, with a deep and quiet respect for the act of lying down and letting go. The wealthiest among them had beds with headrests, Not pillows as we know them, but carved wooden supports, curved gently to cradle the head and neck, shaped by hand to follow the natural resting position of the human body. These headrests were often beautifully made, carved from smooth, pale wood, sometimes decorated with gentle patterns, sometimes made from stone that had been worn to a soft finish. They look uncomfortable to us now, hard and unyielding, but to the people who used them, they were familiar. They were right. They were the shape that rest had always taken, and the body learns to accept what it knows. The simpler households had simpler beds, a wooden frame, a woven surface, a piece of linen or a soft animal skin laid on top. Nothing more, nothing less, but the same basic intention, the same quiet commitment to making sleep a little better, a little kinder, a little more worthy of the body that needed it. Even in the most modest Egyptian home, the bed was the most important object in the room. It was placed with care. It was maintained. It was thought about. Because sleep was not nothing. Sleep was everything. Now, let us travel a little further. Let us leave the warm, dry air of Egypt and move westward into the world of ancient Rome. Imagine a different room now, still stone underfoot, but cooler. The walls are plastered smooth and painted in soft, earthy colors, muted reds and warm ochres, and a faint, dusty blue in the corner near the window. The light here is different. A small oil lamp burns on a low shelf. Its flame is steady and very small, just enough to see by, just enough to turn the stone walls warm and golden at the edges. And here, in this Roman room, another bed, different from the Egyptian one, but carrying the same quiet purpose. The Romans called it a lectus, and it was more than just a sleeping surface. It was a place of living. Romans did not only sleep in their beds, they rested there in the afternoon. They received close friends there. They read there. They thought there. The bed was a private world within the larger world of the home, a place where the body could be horizontal, where the day could be set down, where the mind could be still. The frame was wooden or sometimes metal, fitted with a base of woven rope or leather straps, firm enough to support the body, with just enough give to make it forgiving. On top of this base, a mattress, not the mattress you know, but a mattress all the same. A cloth sack filled with soft materials. Wool was common, sometimes hay or straw, sometimes reeds or dried plants chosen for their gentle give.
This filled mattress changed everything, because now there was real cushioning, real softness between the body and the firm base below. The body no longer pressed against woven rope or flat wood. It pressed against something that gave way, something that received it gently, something that said, in the quiet language of softness, "Here, rest here. I will hold you." Feel that softness now beneath you, the mattress that holds you tonight, the layers between your body and the floor. You are sleeping the way Romans slept, in the deepest sense, on a filled surface, on a raised frame, in a room made for rest. The wealthiest Romans added more: cushions at the head and sides, fine linens woven in soft, shimmering patterns, lightweight blankets made from carefully prepared wool, a sleeping space that was, by any measure, genuinely comfortable. But even the simpler Roman beds, even the modest ones in small homes near narrow city streets, were remarkable when you consider where the story started. Bare earth, cold stone, dry grass on the ground, a skin pulled tight against the cold. And now, a frame, a woven base, a filled mattress, linen smooth and cool against the skin, a blanket of soft wool, 4 walls around you, a small flame to sit with until sleep comes. The distance between those 2 places in the story, that distance is made of thousands of years of human thought, human hands, human care, human longing for rest that is kind. And every night that passed, every generation that came and went added something. One small thing, one soft improvement, one more layer between the body and the hard ground where the story began. You are the result of all of that, right now, tonight. The final layer in a story that began in a cave and ended here, in this warm, still, deeply comfortable place. In Part 9, we come even closer to the present. We move through the centuries that followed, through the Middle Ages, through the slow, quiet development of the bed as we know it, through the materials and the craftsmanship and the changing ideas about what sleep deserves. It is a rich chapter, full of texture and warmth, and it carries us almost all the way home. Stay with us. There is just a little more of this beautiful story left to tell, and every remaining part is worth staying awake for, even as your eyes grow heavier, even as the night grows deeper. If Sleeptale Histories is the voice that walks you gently toward rest, if these stories feel like something worth returning to, please subscribe so that every new chapter finds you exactly where you are right now. Warm, still, almost there. Feel the linen against your skin. Feel the warmth of the ancient lamp. The stone walls are close and still, and the night is long and peaceful. Rest now. You are held.
You are still here, all this way, and we are almost at the end now. Just 2 more parts of this long, quiet journey. Take a slow breath. Let it out gently. Feel how heavy your body has become, how still, how deeply, quietly ready for rest. You have traveled so far tonight, from bare earth beneath an open sky, through firelight and sheltered caves, through soft layers of grass and skin, through cold, broken nights and long, patient endurance, through the first raised beds and ancient linen and stone floors worn smooth. You have watched sleep transform, night by night, century by century, from something the body did just to survive the dark into something else entirely, into something that deserved care, that deserved warmth, that deserved a space made just for it. Tonight, we sit with that transformation. We watch it complete itself, slowly, gently, the way all true changes happen. Not all at once, but so quietly you almost miss it. Close your eyes and come with me one more time. For most of early human history,
Sleep was not something people thought deeply about. It was not a subject of reflection, not a practice, not something you prepared for or designed around. It was just the dark part of the day, the part when the body stopped, when the fire was tended, and the group drew close, and the world went still. Sleep was the pause between one day of surviving and the next. Nothing more, nothing less. But somewhere in the long story of human civilization, that began to change. People began to think about sleep, to wonder about it, to ask what it meant, where the mind went when the body was still, what happened in that quiet, unreachable space between closing your eyes and opening them again. This wondering was new, and it was beautiful, because it meant that sleep was no longer just a function. It had become a mystery, and mysteries are treated differently than functions. Mysteries are approached with reverence, with care, with gentle, wondering attention. In many ancient cultures, sleep was considered a kind of small passage, a nightly crossing from the waking world into something softer, something less defined, something that touched the edges of the deep and the unknown. Dreams were taken seriously, studied, remembered carefully in the morning, shared with others, sometimes written down, sometimes brought to those who were thought to understand what the night carried.
The sleeping space became part of this reverence. If sleep was a passage, if the night was something sacred and significant, then the place where you lay down mattered. It deserved to be prepared, to be clean and quiet and calm. And so people began to tend to their sleeping spaces, not just for comfort, but with a kind of gentle ceremony, a nightly ritual of preparation. In many cultures across the ancient world, the last hour before sleep was a time of quieting. The fire was lowered, the food was put away, the conversations of the day were allowed to fade, and a stillness was invited in, a deliberate, chosen stillness, the kind you create when you understand that what comes next deserves to be approached with care. Feel the echo of that in your own night right now, the way the day fades behind you, the way noise becomes quieter as the hours move toward midnight, the way your body begins its own slow ceremony of letting go. That is ancient, that careful winding down, that gentle preparation for the crossing. It lives in you. It has always lived in you. As civilizations grew more complex, the sleeping space grew with them. The bedroom began to separate from the rest of the home, to become its own world, a private world, a world of rest and dream and the soft, personal hours of the night. In many households across the ancient and medieval world, the bedroom was the most personal room in the home, the place where the self was most fully at rest, where the social roles of the day were set aside, where a person could simply be a body that needed sleep, nothing more required, nothing more expected. The bed in that room was tended with care. Linens were changed and freshened. Sleeping surfaces were restuffed with clean material. The pillow, by now a soft and familiar presence, was plumped and placed with intention. These were not grand gestures. They were small daily acts, quiet and unremarkable, but they carried something important inside them. They carried the message that sleep mattered, that the person who would rest here mattered, that their comfort and their rest and their peace were worth this small, careful attention. Think about that for a moment.
Someone making a bed, smoothing the linen, placing the pillow just so, in a small room in a house that no longer exists, in a time that has been gone for hundreds of years. And yet the gesture is completely familiar. You know exactly what it feels like. You have felt it. That quiet act of making a sleeping space ready. That small, tender preparation for rest. Nothing has changed in that gesture. Nothing at all. Across all the centuries, across all the different materials and shapes and forms the bed has taken, the gesture is the same, and the love inside it is the same. Now, somewhere in this long transformation of sleep, something else shifted too. Something even quieter, even more internal. People began to understand that rest was not weakness, that lying down was not giving up, that the body's need for sleep was not something to push against or hurry through. Sleep began to be understood as restoration, as the time when the body repaired itself, when the mind sorted through the day, when something essential was returned to you that the hours of waking had slowly spent. This understanding changed how people thought about rest. It gave sleep a kind of dignity, a rightness, a place in the rhythm of life that was as important as anything that happened in the waking hours.
You deserve to rest. Not just because you are tired, not just because the body requires it, but because rest is part of what it means to live well, to take care of yourself, to honor the body that carries you through every hour of every day. That idea, that simple, quiet, profound idea, took a very long time to arrive. For most of human history, rest was just survival, just the dark part of the day. But slowly, across thousands of years, it became something more. It became a gift, something you gave yourself, something you prepared for, something you protected. And here you are tonight, protecting your rest, giving yourself this quiet hour, this soft space, this gentle story to carry you down into sleep. You are at the end of a very long journey, the longest journey in the story of human sleep, and you have arrived somewhere beautiful, somewhere soft, somewhere warm, somewhere that took 200,000 years to build. Your bed tonight is not just a bed. It is the answer to every cold night on bare earth, every broken night of wind and rain, every careful pile of gathered grass, every carved wooden leg, every woven surface, every sheet of linen smoothed by a careful hand. All of it, all of that long, patient human effort toward comfort, all of that quiet love for rest is present in the place where you are lying right now. Let that settle over you like the softest, warmest blanket, like a gift from every person who ever lay down before you. You are almost asleep now. I can feel it in the way the story is moving, in the way the words are slowing down, in the way the silence between sentences has grown longer and more comfortable. In part 10, our final chapter, we arrive at the modern bed, and we close the circle of this long, beautiful story. We bring it all the way home, from the bare earth at the very beginning to the soft and quiet place where you are right now. It is the last part, and it is a gentle one, made to carry you the rest of the way into sleep. So stay with us just a little longer. The end of this journey is worth being awake for, even just barely awake,
even with eyes that barely want to stay open. And if this series has been the companion your nights needed, if these stories have become the soft place you return to when the day is done, please subscribe to Sleeptale Histories. There are more stories waiting for you here. Long, quiet, peaceful stories made for exactly the place you are in right now. Let your breath slow. Let your body grow still. The journey is almost complete, and you are so close now, so very close to rest.
You made it. All the way to the end. Or perhaps you almost made it. Perhaps you drifted somewhere in the middle. Perhaps your eyes closed somewhere back in part 7 or 8 or 9, and this is the first thing you are hearing now, soft and slow in the deep quiet of your night. Either way, you are here, and I am so glad. This is Sleeptale Histories, the last chapter of our first long journey together. And tonight, we do not go anywhere new. We do not travel to any ancient land. We do not imagine any different world. Tonight, we simply stay here, right where you are, in this room, in this warmth, in this soft and quiet night, and we look back, gently, one last time, at how far the story has come. Take one slow breath. Let it out without any hurry at all. Feel the weight of your body exactly as it is right now, heavy and still and completely at rest. This is where we began. Not here, in this comfortable place, but here, in the act of lying down, in the ancient human act of letting the body be horizontal, of closing the eyes, of releasing the day. That act has never changed, not once, not in 200,000 years. The body lies down, the eyes close, the breath slows, and sleep comes. Everything else in this story, everything we have traveled through together, the caves and the fires, and the skins and the grass, the carved wooden legs and the woven surfaces, the linen and the filled mattresses, and the stone rooms, all of it, every single part of that long, patient journey was simply the world building a better place for that one ancient act to happen in. The act itself was always perfect. It was always exactly right. The body knew how to sleep from the very beginning. It has always known. What changed, what took all those thousands of years to build and refine and pass forward, was the container, the place, the softness, the warmth, the quiet room with walls that hold the night back, the surface that receives the body with gentleness, the blanket that says without words, "You are covered now. You are warm. You do not need to hold anything anymore." Think about what you are lying on tonight. Really think about it. Not in a complicated way, just softly, just with quiet awareness. There is something beneath your head, soft and filled, shaped gently to receive the weight of your skull, the weight of your whole day. There is something beneath your body, layers of carefully made material,
each one chosen for its ability to be gentle, to give way just the right amount, to hold warmth without holding heat, to breathe and adjust and support.
And over you. Something soft, light enough to not feel heavy, warm enough to feel safe. The kind of covering that turns the air around your body into a small, private, peaceful world. None of this existed once upon a time. None of it. There was only the earth and the dark and the cold that rose from below and the wind that came from all sides and a body that needed rest anyway, that found rest anyway, because the body has always been remarkable that way. But now there is all of this softness, all of this warmth, all of this careful, quiet, beautiful comfort. 200,000 years of human longing, 200,000 years of cold nights and hard ground and the simple wish for something better. 200,000 years of hands building and minds imagining and hearts hoping. All of it resting beneath you right now, holding you the way it was always meant to hold you. Let that be the last thought that moves through your mind tonight. Not a loud thought, not a sharp one, just a soft, warm, wordless awareness. You are held by more than you know, by more than you can see, by the long, quiet, patient love of every human being who ever lay down on hard ground and wished for exactly this. They wished for you without knowing it. They wished for the person at the end of the line, the person who would finally rest on something soft in a warm room, in a safe and quiet night. You are that person, tonight, right now. The story of sleep is not over. It is never over. Every night is a new chapter. Every person who closes their eyes is adding one more quiet line to the longest story ever told. And tonight, you added yours. You lay down. You grew still. You let the day go, and you rested. Just like every human being before you, and just like everyone who will come after. The circle is complete. But our stories are not finished, not even close. Sleeptale Histories has so many more quiet journeys waiting for you. New topics, new chapters, new long, slow, atmospheric wanderings through the peaceful corners of history. Stories about how ancient people understood dreams, stories about the rituals of night across different cultures, stories about the sounds and the smells and the textures of sleep through the ages, each one long, each one slow, each one made for exactly this, for the end of the day, for the quiet room, for the heavy eyes that need somewhere gentle to land. These stories will always be here for you, waiting, soft and still, the way a good sleeping place always waits, ready whenever you return. If this series has given you something, if these 10 quiet chapters have been a companion to your nights, if this voice has become part of how your evenings end, please subscribe to Sleeptale Histories so that every new story finds its way to you without you having to look for it. It will simply be there, the way comfort is always simply there when you finally stop
and let yourself feel it. And please, if these stories have helped you rest, tell someone. Not loudly, not urgently, just gently, the way you would share anything soft and good. A quiet word to someone who might need a peaceful place to land at the end of their day. Thank you for staying, for listening, for traveling all this way with me, through the bare earth and the firelight, through the caves and the cold nights, through the ancient rooms and the carved wooden frames, all the way here to this warm and quiet place. It has been a privilege to walk beside you through the dark. Now, there is nothing left to do, nothing left to think about, nothing left to hold. The story is told, the journey is complete, and the night is long and soft and entirely yours. Let your breath slow one more time. Feel the pillow beneath your head. Feel the warmth around your body. Feel the room around you, close and quiet and still. Outside, the world continues. It always does. But in here, in this small, warm, sheltered space, time has slowed to almost nothing. There is only the breath, in and out, in and out, gentle and rhythmic and ancient, the same breath that every sleeping human being has ever breathed. You are part of something very long, very quiet, very beautiful. Rest now. You have earned it. Every soft thing beneath you says so. Every warm layer around you says so. Every peaceful, quiet moment of this night says so. Rest. Deeply, completely, all the way down. Good night.
And now, as the night grows quieter and the world around you begins to slow, it's worth remembering that for most of human history, sleep was never this easy. No soft beds, no warm blankets, no perfect place to rest. And yet, somehow, people still found a way to close their eyes, to drift into the unknown, and to wake up again with the morning light. So tonight, as you lie comfortably where you are, you're experiencing something truly rare in human history, a kind of rest that countless generations could only have imagined. If you enjoyed this gentle journey into the past, you might also enjoy the many other quiet stories waiting for you here. There are more calm histories, more peaceful nights, and more stories designed to help you relax, unwind, and slowly drift off to sleep. So, if you haven't already, consider subscribing to Sleeptale Histories and becoming part of this quiet, growing space. And if this story helped you feel even a little more relaxed, you can let me know by leaving a like or sharing your thoughts in the comments below. It truly means more than you might think. For now, thank you for spending this quiet moment here. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a peaceful night and a gentle, restful sleep. Good night.
If you're still awake, another peaceful story awaits you.